Hey friends, happy Tuesday. Welcome to another edition of Shred Your Body. I'm your host, Jesse James Jamnik. Episode number 9. I'm excited. Shelly, you're episode number 9. We're getting there. We're catching up. We're moving up. So for those of you guys that are just going to join us, welcome to Shred Your Body. We do this call every single Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And my goal, my mission here is to highlight amazing people in our Shredder Army, people that have joined us. I want to learn about people. Some weeks we're going to share some science, some tips, all that kind of good stuff. But this week, I'm super excited because I have another very special guest on with me, Miss Shelly Johnson. Shelly, welcome to Shred Your Body.
If you're looking for science, you will not get it from me. Not getting it.
Nope. I'll tell you what, you bring the funny, I'll bring the science, we'll mix it together and we'll create the fusion just like the ER Shred is, right?
We'll take that on the road, baby.
Absolutely. This beautiful fusion. So guys, as you come in, I see Sean on, I see Heather on. As you guys come in, do us a favor, say hello, drop into the comments, let us know where it is you're coming in from. If you have any questions throughout this interview, I feel like we're going to have a lot of laughs. We're going to go high, maybe we'll dig deep and go low. Whatever the case may be, we'll kind of dive into some things, but I'm super excited. Sean says he believes in science.
Oh,
Shelly's
Sean.
not going to help you, Sean. Shelly's not going to help you, dude.
Yeah, you can believe in it. Go ahead.
You're on the wrong Facebook Live.
And I don't do math either, so don't ask. No math questions.
That's good. So that's one thing we have in common. We don't do math. So let's do this, Shelly. For everybody that's coming in, we have 20 people on now. It will grow as we grow. Guys, if you know somebody that can benefit from this, please do us a favor. Sharing is caring. Tag them into the comments below. The more people that we can get this out to, I know it is my passion. It is my mission to help people come alive and feel flipping amazing. Like I'm 40 going on 41. I feel like I'm 20 every day. And I believe that everybody should have their health because health is our greatest wealth. So that's our mission with the ER Shred, is to give people a simple, no bullshit solution that we can just get down to business, stop playing the games, get results, and those physical results change mental results, change life results, and then boom, we just kind of go off from there and light this wick, right? Right, Shelly? We light this wick that just kind of ignites the inside, which we'll talk about. Yes.
I got to say something real quick. One of the first questions I noticed was Heather says, here's my question. Jesse, will you take on Shelly's shrimp butter challenge?
Hell yeah.
Gauntlet.
I saw your shrimp butter challenge. All you did was take some butter, wrap it around shrimp, and eat it. Like, you ain't scaring me with something like that.
I left the shell on, Jesse.
You left the shell on. You got really ambitious. You got the extra nutrients. Good for you. I'll flip somebody's mind because I was just going to actually take, there's some fruits and like avocados, bananas and stuff that you can actually eat the peel. And most people don't realize that they're chock full of nutrients. Maybe it might not agree with your gut necessarily. I got a cast iron gut, which is great. But whatever the case may be. So Shelly, let's do this. For people, I don't know you. I met you through the ER Shred. And that's one of my favorite things about this entire thing that we're building here, this freaking vision, this community, this worldwide group that we got going on. But I get to meet so many new amazing people, and you're one of them. And your results are, you're like, yep, that's me. Your results are freaking awesome, which we'll get to. But for people that don't know you, let's start off with the basics. Let's start really simple. Who are you? Where are you from? And we'll go from there.
So I was born in a small town in Utah. I'm kidding. I won't go all the way back there. I grew up, my dad was military. We traveled around a lot. I grew up in a very, in my mind, strict patriarchal religion, which I made choices regarding that religion. Mm-hmm. I got married really young. I had 7 kids because that's what I thought my job was. When I turned around 40, I was kind of evaluating my life and realizing this isn't me. By the way, if you're interested in that entire story, Latter Day Lesbian podcast is where you'll find it. It's all out there. It's It's raw, it's vulnerable, it's energetic, it's funny, it's everything you could ever want in a partridge in a pear tree. So I left the religion and that started my trauma because, you know, that's something that you have to heal from when you leave anything that's culturally your entire life. And then I recognized that I was gay, which another huge trauma, like, oh my gosh, okay. Ended up getting divorced because it's kind of what you sort of have to do when you're married to a man and you're a lesbian. You don't have to. I'm not going to should anybody, but I did that. I mean, do what you want. I'm not judging anyone for their life choices. So we split. We're still friends, thankfully. We live like 2 miles away from each other. We have joint custody of the kids. In that time, I met my girlfriend, Mary. She's this one with the glasses, the one making the face like, what are you talking about? Which is basically the entire podcast. She's asking me, what are you talking about? Anyway, we met, fell in love. We're together now. We've been together about 3 years. But in that 3-year period was when I went from probably one of my healthiest times. I was a CrossFit coach. I ate relatively healthy. I did drink a lot of alcohol because in my recovery from religion, I was like, give me all the things. And I started really kind of eating my feelings. Like there was a lot of trauma in there from childhood and you know, hiding my authentic self. And I turned to food. And within a couple years, I had gained more weight than I ever wanted to, felt sluggish. The extra pounds wasn't the worst of it for me. It was just tired, needing a nap or 2 naps every day, feeling unmotivated, even being a little embarrassed because I hadn't seen anyone in a long time because I got busy and then there was COVID. And I'm ashamed to admit this, but I was afraid to run into people that I knew back when I was in tip-top shape because I would be embarrassed. Mm-hmm. I hate that that's how I felt. No one should feel that way, but I did. And what led me here to the ER Shred was I had gone out to Utah to help my elderly parents. Oh, you want some old people stories? I have so many. You just ask later. Here's one. My mom has dementia, right? There you go. Thank you. Write that down. My mom has dementia and they live in this old people. I'm sure this is not the right way to say it. Old people, active living. I don't know where the old people go. She and my mom live there and she has dementia, but she keeps forgetting that she has dementia. So she keeps telling all the residents that she has dysentery. I'm like, no, Mom, you don't have dysentery. There's nothing wrong with your bowels. It's dementia. So that's life having really old parents. Anyway, back to me. Went out to help them get moved. And it was, again, this shocking thing of like, oh my gosh, I'm in my 40s. By the way, when you said you were 40, 41, Jesse, I just kind of wanted to cuddle you and like rock you because you're just a baby. Just a little baby. I'm like 5 years older. So when I was there, it really was this moment of, oh my gosh, I'm not 20 anymore. My parents are old. They're infirm. I'm putting them in a freaking retirement community. And my dad was always like all the things, military, everything. My mom at this point has lost her mind. She thinks she has dysentery. And seeing them just break down mentally, physically, and they're only in their 70s, you know? And I always picture myself getting old and being old forever and loving it, you know, just living life, retiring, not giving a shit what anyone says, shave my head, whatever I want to do, right? Because I'm old, I'll do what I want. But I want to keep that, the health that goes along with it. So when I was out in Utah, again, it was about a 3-week trip and it was emotionally, physically, everything exhausting. And I ate, I'm like Arctic Circle, Wiener Schnitzel, like everything, just feeding my emotions. Like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. I must have put on, I don't know, in 3 weeks, a few pounds. Because when Mary came to see me, she smacked me on the belly and the whole thing went like this. And she's like, oh, you're having fun in Utah. I'm like, I know. But I felt like shit. So coming back on the plane, I was like, I got to find something. And either Crystal or Sean had invited me to the group. We belong to a separate Facebook group together, and they invited me. And I started looking, and people are talking about this ER Shred thing. And I thought it was something that had been happening for years, right?
That's that's the post-religion group that Sean and Crystal started.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
gotcha. Okay.
Yes. And so I said, what the hell, I'll do it. And so I joined, signed up, whatever, got the stuff, did it. 11-day shred. I lost a pound a day. It was like, whoa, shit. It's supposed to be like lose a pound to a pound and a half per week. Like that's what you're always told is all your body should do.
Yeah.
But I lost a pound every day and felt great. That was the weird thing. I felt great. Didn't feel hungry. I know you always say, come alive day 5. That's bullshit for me, Jesse. Day 5 was like, okay. Day 6, boom. It was like amazing.
Yeah.
Mary's going, can you take that energy somewhere else, please? Like it's a bit. So yeah.
So you did it by yourself. She didn't do it with you.
No, she's like, I need to eat all day.
Okay.
I hope she doesn't watch this.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah,
we love you, Mary. It's okay.
Yeah, she's awesome. She's a badass.
Wow.
That brings us to roughly current.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh no, I'll go more. If that's okay.
Well, wait.
Oh.
Whoa. Woo.
You can tell I'm a podcaster. I'm like,
listen, woman. Okay, so let's do this. So
okay,
that was a lot, right? So let's rewind a little bit. Let's figure out, because I want to show, if you don't mind, I feel like you're an open book. So let's rewind a little bit, because I've been health coaching for over 15 plus years. And what I've come to know is when people come to me with struggles with food, it's actually typically not the food that's the struggle. There's always an underlying thing, right? So like, for instance, we in health coaching, we work on what's called primary foods, relationship, career, spirituality, home cooking, you know what I mean? All that good stuff. And if you're necessarily happy with life, good career, great relationship, super satisfied, I don't really see people cleaning the fridge at midnight or turning to, you know what I mean, so much. Now, sometimes that happens, but I'm just saying there's always something, right? There's trauma. A lot of it is sexual trauma, childhood trauma. I know this has gone with me for a long time through adulthood myself and issues that I've dealt with. So you grew up in a very strict religion, right? That's all you knew. Dad was military. Like it was his way or the highway.
Yes. And on top of that, it's a very patriarchal religion. And I've got my dad and I have 3 older brothers. Okay. Mm-hmm. And my mom, who, love my mom, but she's very soft-spoken. She doesn't really have an opinion. She does whatever the men tell her to do, because she's sort of that super old school type.
Yep.
And so my entire growing up was I just want my dad and my brothers to think I'm strong or I'm cool, or it just wasn't there, because it was the men are better than the women. The women, you need to bake bread and have babies and like crochet some shit, which I never learned how to do. Just very, I was stuck in what I wasn't meant to be stuck in, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It makes sense. I think, yeah, for sure. It makes a ton of sense. So this is all you learned. This is what you knew. But for you, if it sounds like you kind of had this thing in your brain that was trying to talk to you, but yet you were pushed one way. It was never like, okay, let me support what you want and whatever. This was just the way that you were going to live life. Like that's what you were taught.
That's exactly right. There's one path and one path only. Uh-huh. I had some wild times, late high school, early college, but it was still in the back of my head, like, okay, I got to get my act together. I got to do these things. I have to get back on the right path. It was still this, like, I have to be here. And so when I finally was like, okay, it's time to do here, that was when I got married young and, had all the babies. And I felt like I was actually portraying something out there for everyone to see so that they would finally approve of me and think that I'm like a good, strong, religious person. Yeah. But inside, I was just a mess. I was a freaking mess inside. And I think when you go a long time. What does that mean,
Shelly? What does that mean you were a mess? Because this I maybe somebody didn't go through this exact situation. I know you, Sean, Crystal, you guys are connected to quite a few people that have some sort of similar story, right? But for people, what does that feel like? Because when you're just kind of, I almost like feel like it's like me growing up, the little fat kid, always wanting to fit in, totally different situation, but like I never felt I was good enough. I never felt whatever. Like I had to be this person when I knew I was this person. Like
Yeah,
I needed to fit in. You know what I mean? Like today,
absolutely.
I'm all about fitting out. I realize that fitting out is actually the cool way to go.
Right.
But it took me a long time to do that. You know what I mean? So this kind of sounds along the similar pathway. And what does that mean when you just kind of felt messed up inside? Because I'm sure there's people out there that feel messed up. Maybe we can touch one person tonight, right? That's the key.
Absolutely. And I would love that. And, with our podcast, that's our reach, is helping people through humor and through very, vulnerability. We really help people sort of process their crap.
Yeah.
So for me, it was growing up, never feeling good enough because I was a girl and not a boy. My
Yeah.
boys got to do the cool boy stuff. My dad respected the men. So it was this just wanting someone to like who I was, but that meant me being a boy, right? Doing boy stuff, which that could
Did
never
you feel
happen.
not loved?
I
Did you
felt
feel
loved,
not
but
worthy?
I felt loved. I did not feel worthy because, again, I experimented with some stuff in high school, and boom, right then you're like, I'm not worthy to get married to a clean young man. I mean, there's a lot of pressure to stay clean and on the straight and narrow. And once you've kind of gone off, even if you repent, there's still this sort of, she's not, she's not up to my standards because I don't want someone who's a licked cupcake or, some already, an apple with a bite missing or something along those lines.
So bad choices,
so when
we're talking like, am I imagining like the right, like, are we talking like drinking? We talking
drinking, sex before marriage, drugs. I only smoked pot. I got super paranoid and didn't do it again. Like super paranoid. It was crazy. Like, wow. So yeah, anything that a normal kid sort of experiments with, that's not okay the way I was raised. And not only is it not okay, it's very, you have to go and talk to your spiritual authority above you and tell them what you did. And it's embarrassing. Worse than that, it's humiliating. You just feel like crap, like you're not good enough. Then when I finally was like, I got to be a good religious girl now. I got to do all the things. And I was at a school that had all the same religious types there. And once I was there, I still feel like I didn't quite fit in because I had a past, I wasn't a virgin by then. And I was I needed to get married. And how are you going to tell a guy that you're not a virgin? Just a bunch of it messes with you. Like you never feel good enough. So basically I married the first guy who paid me any attention. And that I told my sordid past, which looking now, like I didn't do shit compared to what kids these days, I just was a normal teenager. But I got married and again, start having the babies because I was told that my purpose on earth is to have babies, have children. And the more children you have, the more in favor you are with God. And that was the only way to be happy. So I kept waiting to be happy. Have another kid. Wow, I'm really not quite happy. And the more kids I had, anyone who has more than one freaking kid, you get it. You are exhausted. I would have like a toddler and I'm nursing something and I'm pregnant and it's like, it's exhausting. And I'm also expected to go to church, do all these things and make dinner and bake the bread, like everything. And I kept doing it because I kept waiting to feel loved by God and accepted. At this time I was accepted because really on the outside, everyone looked at me as this wonderful spiritual religious being because I was doing all the things.
Yeah.
But inside I was broken. I was exhausted. I felt completely unfulfilled. This sounds horrible. I didn't really want to be around my kids. And I don't mean that in a bad way. They're great kids, but it was a lot. And the noise was too much. And cleaning up the mess destroyed me. I mean, I was starting to have panic attacks. And I would lose my temper and yell at him over the stupidest story. This one time, I was, in one of those panicky situations that I would get into with all the noise and the clutter. And there was this closet that the kids would never hang their coats up in. They would get stuck in the wedge of the closet. And I just yelled at the kids about, I don't know what. And I went to close the closet and it wouldn't close because there was jackets. And I said, damn it, kids, put your clothes away. And I kicked the door, broke my freaking toe, broke it clean in half with a shoe on. So temper up to here, right?
Yeah.
And that's, no one should live their life that way. And I was on the outside doing everything right. And that's what I mean by I was messed up. Everything on the outside said I'm doing everything right. Inside, I was just angry and trying to escape. And I'm not connected to my husband because lesbian, didn't realize it.
Yeah.
It's like a big disconnect. No one, I don't think anyone can be happy when you're that disconnected on the outside and the inside.
Right. So you were necessarily, you're saying you're doing everything right, but you're really doing everything right based off somebody else's narrative.
Bingo. That's exactly it.
You're not doing everything right for Shelly.
Not a damn thing. That's why I was married for 21 years to a guy like with the long arm hairs and stuff. I'm not about that. I'm not about that life, Jesse. Not that there's anything wrong with it.
In the bodybuilding world, mine comes off, so I don't have any of those hairy.
I like it.
Yeah, so I'm good. I'm good. Wow. So that's that's big. That's a lot to deal with. I mean, I can't even imagine. Yeah, I know you tried to sum it up, but I just, thank you for being vulnerable and sharing some of that.
Absolutely.
And you're right. You didn't do anything. I mean, I think my teenage years would dwarf yours. The stuff that I did, the stupid stuff that I chose to do. You didn't do anything wrong. It's just that this shows like this is just the path. You know what I mean? So here you are. You're living life, not your life. You're living somebody else's narrative of what you thought life should be. And then you finally get to
told it should be. Yeah.
What you were told it should be. And then you get to this point where now talk to me about how long you mentioned something about CrossFit. I know you used to be big into CrossFit. When did CrossFit start? Where did that fit into this whole picture? Was it before? Was it after? Was it during?
It's actually it's cool because what happened was my husband at the time had slowly started leaving our religion, and me being a good wife, I sort of followed him out, and then he kind of stayed in some offshoot thing, and I wasn't about that, and I kept kind of backing out of religion altogether. And in that time, I started attending a CrossFit gym in a different town where nobody knew me. No one knew I had been a religious anything. And so I started going there on a clean, fresh slate, and I started meeting people who didn't know me, right? And it was like this breath of fresh air, like, I'm gonna say a swear word. And I would just drop an F-bomb, like, oh my God, no one looked at me funny. Like no one said, oh, they just were like, yeah, fuck that. I mean, it sounds so petty, but it was very big for me that I could just let little bits of myself out, right? And it was okay. Isn't that weird? My life is so freaking weird.
Have you ever watched the video that Sean posted with Crystal trying to swear?
I can only imagine.
It just reminded me of this. It was I get it. Like I get it.
I learned the art of it for sure. Another big thing about CrossFit was I met a lot of gay people. There were a few gay people at my gym, which I hadn't really met gay people before because in my religion, you stick within your religion. And I was afraid that they would be freaky, weird, just out to have sex with everything because that's how I was told it went down. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Again, I'm not judging anyone's choices. But I met them and they were normal. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous now, but they were normal, loving, happy people. And in my mind, I thought, there's no way God thinks this is a sin. I mean, come on. These are really, really great people.
Yeah.
And then I had this moment, which was life-changing for me. I was in the airport and I was standing there in one of the lines, and there was this lesbian couple in front of me. And they were laughing and they were holding each other and they were making jokes and holding hands, and they'd kiss each other in the cheek once in a while. And I sat there and this energy of love came off of them, just hit me hard. And I'm going, I want that. I want that. I don't know what that is, but that energy, I need that.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I've been married to this man for 21 years, who he's fine, whatever, but I've never felt that what I'm seeing go down.
Yeah.
What am I doing? What am I doing? And as soon as I got that out of my mind, that being gay was evil, wicked, whatever, I, of course, then found myself noticing other women.
Yeah.
And and thank you, CrossFit. That was kind of the shift that was made. So I've got leaving religion, horribly traumatic, right? Because you got to tell your family and everything. And then I've got coming out of the closet. Talk about a conversation you don't want to have with your husband. It's a little awkward. And then after that, it was like starting my new life.
Yeah.
Which is, oh, thanks, Melanie. Yes, absolutely. I'm reading and nodding, but, for folks out there.
Yeah.
CrossFit definitely helped me make that shift. And CrossFit was great for me, physically wise, working out and stuff, but I still had to go through all that shit in my head. My spiritual health, my mental health was just shot. How do you recover in 2 years from 43 years of not being yourself? It's not easy. Yeah. And again, that's food came into the picture. And I think with you, Jesse, I believe that people who overdo anything, alcohol, food, drugs, people who are hoarders, people that are super overweight, whatever, there's trauma in there. There's trauma that makes you hurt your body, and that's what I hit. It was this quick fix when I was super down, quick fix, Twinkie, chili dog, whatever. You feel better for 5 seconds and then you feel like shit, even worse. I got into that cycle.
It's crazy. It's crazy you just said that. Sean called me out a couple years ago. When I've known Sean now for almost 6 years, and, he met me and I was at like the prime, like hardcore bodybuilding, obstacle racing, ultra marathon running. And after a couple years, I forgot exactly when it was, but he was like, I need to know your story better. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, nobody puts themselves through what you do happily. And I was like, well, I ran away from pain. Like, I found the gym. Like, you found food, I found the gym. Like, it comforted me. It was my safe place, and then it just kept going more and more and more. And it's crazy because like the ultra marathon running community, like people are like, why do you keep signing up for this shit? I'm like, well, I got a few screws loose. But it's the community, the people, the stories. Do you know how many stories I've heard of people who have I know so many past drug addicts, people that have been physically hurt, sexually hurt, and they use this form of exercise. Some people it's food, some people it's exercise, some people it's hurting themselves. It gets deep, you know what I mean? And thankfully, I found exercise, you know what I mean, which I found was my calling, go figure. So yeah, you're right. There's always trauma. There's deep, deep trauma that's built inside somebody. And for you, so you have all these pieces that came together. Do you know this couple, by the way? Or have they were just the people that gave you this feeling? Did you ever get to introduce yourself or know them? So they have no clue that they actually helped make this shift inside you.
Hey, lesbians, if you're out there, I was on the airport going to go to Atlanta. So thank you. Thanks for wrecking my marriage, lesbians. No, I'm kidding. It was already wrecked. It was so wrecked already. It's beautiful. And that when people really love each other, you feel that. I'm a very feeling person. I felt that shit and I was like, whoa, what is this? Yeah.
Oh man. So did you feel now CrossFit? Yeah. CrossFit's big community, right? CrossFit built their brand on community, diehard, loyal community, right? Do you feel that helped you when 100%. You were? Yeah.
100%. Most people, when they leave a very strict religion, they lose their community, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard regardless, but a lot of times people who write into our podcast, they're like, I feel like I'm alone. I listen to you because you make me feel like I'm not alone. I've lost my family. I've lost my community. I don't know, you lose everything. And so I lost all of my friends that were, my church going members with me, not all, but by now all. And I jumped into this CrossFit community again. They didn't know who I was. And so I could be whoever I felt I was at the time, which I was like, who am I? Let's bench press. And immediately got into community. I needed that so much. And
what did that feel like? What did that feel like to be accepted for you as the person who you are? Like you raw, swearing.
It was amazing. I don't even know how to describe it, but it was like, I'm going to be myself for an hour and see what happens. And people actually loved me, thought I was fucking awesome. Whereas for my, 40 some years before that, I had to be awesome by baking bread and by having a shit ton of kids and by, paying money towards my church and by doing all the things that I didn't want to do. I did them to try to get people to like me and to, clap. Freaking go to CrossFit, crack a couple jokes, do a deadlift and whatever, and just be myself and laugh and joke and be a little bit rough around the edges. And people loved it. It felt so good. Like, oh my gosh, I don't have to try to be anything but me. I don't have to watch what I say. I don't have to, be careful not to sit too close to that dude. I just, boom. It was awesome. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I lost that community when, I haven't lost it altogether, but I don't do CrossFit anymore. COVID hit, the podcast, everything just took up all of my time. And I lost some community there. Everything's on social media now, which is great. It's for now. But now with ER Shred, now that I'm shifting my view into health and nutrition and wellness, because I'm like, I can't keep doing this to myself anymore. It's so good to meet you and Sean and Crystal and, so many people who have we have a like mind and we can talk about things. I freaking love it. Y'all are awesome.
Well, thanks. We love you for sure. So we jumped a little, but I want to connect this piece real quick. So CrossFit community, you start feeling this love. It's giving you the sense. You had mentioned food. You're dealing with all, because people don't realize. I want people to realize, like, you went from like marriage, kids, realization, come out of the closet, deal with all this mental trauma, deal with all this stuff. You still probably don't have it all figured out. You join CrossFit, you start to get this other thing. Now you got all this trauma that you're dealing with. Plus you have all this like sense of like joy and extra energy coming in, because now you got this community that's like, holy crap, like I actually am normal. Like they love me for who I am. And was that confusing at some point? Like, were you like fighting back and forth, or were you just kind of like embracing it and going with it? And where did food, like, how did food come into the comfort that got you to put on the weight and kind of get you to where this came in?
Awesome question. So when I joined CrossFit, it was suddenly the party world, because I didn't party when I was 21, 22. I was already knocked up and having babies. I missed that. Yeah. And so I was right back in it. My best friends were millennials. Nothing against millennials. I love them. I still am friends with them, but it was like, boom, hitting the clubs because I hadn't done that. And I had a great time. I made some really fun friends. But I didn't process my shit. I was just reacting, and being free. Didn't process my shit. And, all through CrossFit, I didn't really get vulnerable with people because they were great people and I probably could have, but I was just not really wanting to talk about things yet. Just go out and party, laugh, whatever. And then the divorce happened. It's just everything happened within like a year. It was crazy. Came out of the closet and all that. And then I met my girlfriend, Mary, who is A, sexy, B, the best listener. Like, she's amazing. And I started just, how you meet someone and you're dating, you kind of tell them about your growing up. And I would be telling her stuff. She'd be like, whoa, are you okay? And I'm all, So the more I started talking, the more she was saying, you need to get this story out. You've got some pain that you don't even recognize yet. I'm like, all right, let's have another glass of wine or whatever. So we started the podcast, and then I started talking about these things. Okay. And I'm having like trauma hit me in the face, like, oh shit, yeah, wow, that hurt. Crying over things that I didn't even know bothered me anymore. And it was then when it was I really think when we started the podcast, that's when I started gaining weight, because I was trying to manage these feelings and things were coming. I mean, I'm digging back into some deep shit. Yeah. And talking about it and bringing it to the surface. we would record a podcast episode and I'd be like, I have to go to bed. It'd be 6 o'clock. Like, I got to go lay down. I'm exhausted because it just, getting it out, totally necessary to do. I don't regret it. I would keep this up if I needed to get all this out. But it was food. It was the food. It was like, get a bunch of this shit out. Let's go get pizza and drink some beers. I want some beers, pizza and beer put on my weight. I would high five pizza and beer. You did it. You did your thing. But yeah, I needed to recover with food from being vulnerable and getting the trauma out. That was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your story is obviously your story. It's authentic to you, but it just reminds, I'm like, yep. I'm like thinking of all these people, right? That it's kind of like, it's similar to this nature. It's like food, food, I'll preach it till the day I die. Food's the most powerful legal drug on the face of the planet. Because it literally has the ability to instantly, boom, endorphins. It's like, especially when you're eating pizza and beer and you get that sugar spike and then that spike comes crashing down. Like, that's literally the same feeling that drug addicts go through, where it's like, oh, I'm good. Bang, I need another hit. Oh, I'm good. Bang, I need another hit. People do with food. And before you know it, it's 5 pounds, it's 10 pounds, it's whatever. And then that affects more health. And then your brain can't think. And then the fog comes in and then digestion. And before you know it, it's like, holy shit, like I'm a spiral mess out of control. And you were doing it to deal with all of this other trauma that never was addressed. You just kind of like, it was like wing, bang, boom. You swept it under the rug and moved on. You never actually processed it and dealt with it. So I can see how, especially the podcast, you being so open and vulnerable and dealing with all of this. It sounds like your girlfriend, I know you say she's amazing. It sounds like she almost like literally saved your life in a way, because she was strong enough to get you to speak your truth and get this out there, which I give you credit and her credit, because so many people take it to their grave and they never actually get to experience real life. And it's sad. It's really sad to think about.
Absolutely. A couple of things. So I met Mary on Match.com. And when I made my profile, I was so freaked out because I hadn't dated any women yet. This was like my first, okay, I think I'm going to do this. My profile basically said, help. I think I was raised in a cult. I'm pretty sure I'm gay. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably going to delete this. Like, legit, it was just a shit show on the internet. And then Mary's dumbass replies. I'm like, oh, you act like I'm a shit show, but you're the one who invited it in. But she replied with, it's all going to be okay. Dude, to
wow.
have a stranger tell me that and to feel it was like, oh, okay. And from then it's just been work getting through, but she's been wonderful. And the thing I wanted to say when we started this podcast, right, I was hoping to get maybe a couple hundred listeners, like, some friends and whatever. This thing took off. It took off. And we started getting so many letters from people, emails saying, oh my gosh, I thought I was the only one. You're telling my story. I thought I was the only one. That's what trauma does to you, Jesse. Because if you don't talk about it, it's because you think you're the only one going through this shit. You're the crazy one. You're crazy. No one else knows what you're talking about. So I'm just going to shut up. I'm telling you, you start telling your story, and as scary as it is, and if you don't think you need help, you are helping other people. I promise you're helping other people.
Yeah. That's, yeah. I'm just going to give everybody a second to process that, because what you just spoke, if somebody receives that, man, it can change your life. And I think we're still a work in progress, right? Like I still have a lot of stuff to still get out. Still, like, I know I can be such a better person. I can be a better future husband. I can be a better dad. I can be a better business person. I can be a better coach, right? Like, the more that we can keep dealing with this and talking about it. And you're right, like the lives that can be impacted, it's going to change you. But even if you don't believe in you, try to muster the courage for knowing like, wow, I can maybe impact somebody else. And in the process, I think you'll find yourself healing yourself too. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. And nothing feels better than helping someone else, you know?
Great. That's why I
It's,
love what I
it's,
do. That's why I love
yeah,
what I do. I mean,
same,
if you can't
same
tell that I
podcast.
love what I do, I know.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can feel like you're just a person, like even when you type, you can literally feel just authentic energy coming from you. Like you can just tell like you're good people. Like I seriously can't freaking wait until all this stupid shit is over and we can all get together and have a
I'm
big
going to hug you
massive
so hard.
hell yeah, right here. Big massive ER shred come
Yeah.
together.
Oh,
It's
I
great.
can't wait.
So
I
so
can't wait.
let's get into this now. Let's finish it
All right.
up with this, right?
Sure thing.
So you put on all this weight, you go to Utah, you're dealing with your mom who's got bad digestion issues. I mean, brain issues.
Don't tell her. Don't tell her it's not dysentery. Let her keep thinking that. It's cool.
Oh man, that's a bad disease. I just watched Crystal's grandma go through that. Oh man,
What, dysentery or dementia?
yeah. Okay. All right. Your mom was just with you on a trip, right?
Yeah, I drove trip from hell, but also a great way to just like document a trip with my mom and dad. I mean, it was kind of from hell, but it was a blast too. Yeah, I took them up to Idaho for their first grandchild's wedding. So
Okay.
if anyone wants to see it, it's all online.
Watching the post and seeing the journey and mom buying cigarettes for the guy and like all this.
That was the best. You know what's funny? Okay, sorry, I got to tell another story. I'm a storyteller, real quick. So, my mom has always been really sad because she doesn't have any dollar bills with her, and she wants to give a dollar bill to this homeless guy who hangs out outside of the grocery store by where they are now. And we were walking that way, and she said, "Oh, I forgot to bring $1. Maybe we can get him some food." And I said, "You know what, Mom? Why don't we ask him what he wants? You know, we'll ask him what we can get for him."
Yeah.
So we got up to him, and I said, "Hey, man, we're going into the store. Can I get you a sandwich or something?" He's like, "No, I got enough food." And my mom's like, I don't have any money. He goes, that's okay. And I saw he was smoking. And I said, can I buy you a pack of cigarettes? And he was like, yeah. And I'm thinking, I bet this guy has never had anyone offer to buy him a pack of cigarettes. Should we smoke? No. Is it bad for us? Yes. But in this moment, this is what he's needing to get through his day, right? So we go walking in, and I made my mom buy it. My mom has never bought a cigarette and never touched one. Like she's that. Yeah. And I had her buy these cigarettes, and then we went out and she handed them to him, and we walked off, and she was like, that feels so good. That feels so good. I said, Mom, that's helping without judgment is what that is. Giving without judgment. And so back to her dementia, we got inside, and my mom started telling my dad that she had bought, Terry, I bought cigarettes for the homeless guy. And he goes, no, you didn't. You're just making up stories again, Dixie. So she keeps telling him, and he keeps telling her that never happened. He says that she's making it up, which cracks me up because it doesn't matter what she says. He thinks that she's just forgotten something and is going to make something up.
That's so funny. That's so funny. You could have crazy adventures with mom, and then dad will never believe anything.
It's true. I'm like, let's go get wasted, Mom.
Oh, man. I feel like we could do 3 hours of just stories. We'll have to do this again. So let's get into ER Shred now. So you go to Utah. You're obviously not happy with yourself, right? You're not feeling good. And is it something inside you that's like, were you ready to did you already make this decision that like you need to find something, but did you kind of not know where to go, what to do, or?
I had been trying to get back in shape off and on, but really with this issue with my parents, I'd been going out there back and forth. And nothing I was doing was really sticking as far as diet and exercise. Cause again, I was so stressed out with the situation with my parents, and I do good for a day. And then I'm like, beer, I need beer and pizza. I need it now. And then I need it in an entire cheesecake like that. Yeah. That was my mode. Cause again, it's a quick, make you feel better about your life. And when I was out there, I was in such a bad place. Like my parents were no longer the parents that I remembered. I was shoving food in my face. I was exhausted, and seeing my dad lose his mind, like literally he's just anxious all the time now. He's struggling with anxiety, and he was always on top of everything. He got so anxious that he didn't eat for like 3 weeks. No one knew it. He lost about 40 pounds. And then that, of course, killed off a lot of brain cells. And he was just a mess. And I was like, I don't want to be this. I don't want to lose my mind. And I had already felt like I was kind of starting to. The brain fog all day and anxiety and depression, just all this shit. And I know food is what does and doesn't on this stuff. Like, I know this, but really thinking about it and being serious about it was a different thing I'd finally hit. Like, I know what I should eat. I know how to exercise and eat right. But I finally was like, dude, I got to do this. I don't want to be my dad. I don't want to be my mom. I want to live another 40, 50 years with energy. It was like it put a fear in me. It was a fear. Like, I don't want to be this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important for people to realize too. Like, you have to be at a place where you're ready. You know what I mean? Like, you have that reason and that why for you of, watching your parents and being like, okay, fact check, like reality check. Like, if I don't turn my shit around, I think most people, I don't think, I believe in my heart that most people know the answers. I believe in my heart that nobody really wants to be out of shape and nobody wants to be unhealthy. Like, who wants to feel like shit? Who wants to not feel sexy in their clothes? I don't think anybody really wants that. You know what I mean? But I do appreciate and acknowledge that there's always that underlying reason, which is why I've learned, don't ever judge somebody based on where they're at today, because you never know. And your story, your sharing of your story shows exactly just that. You know what I mean? Like, you never know. Like, if somebody just looked at you and been like, oh, she's lazy, like, that's not probably the answer. You know what I mean? Like, you had all this other stuff going on. And I know the stupid ass media and magazines and Play 60 and also the bullshit that they do is like, oh, you're lazy, oh, you're not eating this, oh, you're not blah 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 blah, right? So you get to this realization, and then you find Sean and Crystal start flashing. It's all of a sudden Sean went from like hiding to like running around with no clothes on.
Yeah, I actually, even though I'm a lesbian, I do stare at Sean's abs. I would also say that I stare at Crystal's, but I don't want her to think I'm coming on to her because that would be inappropriate. But I do, Crystal, I do. I don't even know how I got in the group. I don't remember who added me, but I just was kind of poking around, and I just started.
This is the religion group now.
No, I've been in the religion group for a while. I'm talking the ER Shred group.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I had been in the religion group for at least 2 years, at least two or 3 years. Yeah. And I didn't know them personally, but I'd seen them in there. But then when I ended up in the ER Shred group, it was just seeing people's results and listening to Sean talk with his videos, and seeing him kind of do this with his hair. I'm kidding, Sean, but listening to his videos it was like empowering. It was, I can do this, and seeing him be happy with it, Yeah. And Crystal as well. Crystal talking about it and seeing her this change in her skin and everything was just, it was like something I needed to see at the right time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, hell with it. Let's do it. And I knew there was a community. That was the thing. I was like, oh, here's 20,000 of my next best friends, because this community is huge. And I'm like, I need that. I need this to make this work for me, because doing it on my own with my own, eat better, exercise, I just can't stick with it. Would it work if I could? Sure. But I can't stick to it. I hear I'm hugging everyone out there watching. I need my people. I need you.
Yeah. 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 It's huge. It's probably one of the most powerful things we have. You know what I mean? Like, the science, the actual protocol, the whatever. Great. You know what I mean? Like, it works. It's legit. Like, we've transformed thousands of people's lives. Like, I'm done trying to tell people that it works or doesn't work. Like, you can't argue results, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't argue results. Like, argue all you want, but you're talking to a deaf ear. You know what I mean? Like, you can't change my mind. Right. But the community aspect, and we've watched this now, right? Like, you've been part of this long enough that you've seen, I mean, wow. Yeah. Wow. Like, Jason just did a video today. Wow. Like, this is deep. This is not a diet. This goes far beyond weight loss. This goes far beyond the superficial body, right? So you come into the shred, you finally see like, okay, great community. What did you think when you first understood the protocol? Like, what did you think from being a CrossFit girl to I know how they eat
Yeah.
and knowing, you know, what you knew being in that space when you came into this, like, what was your first initial thought?
My first thought was I loved that it was a cleanse. Because
Okay.
I've done cleanses before and I would be hungry as shit, but they would work. You know, I would lose weight, of course. When you decrease calories, it's going to happen. But looking at the ingredients on the shakes, I was like, oh shit, like that's some legit stuff right there.
Yeah.
And I also have always believed in the idea of eating protein and fat. You know, even though growing up in the 80s a lot, it's like no fat, low fat, zero fat. Let's, you know, we'll pump everything full of sugar instead, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I've always kind of thought that proteins and fats needed to go together, and that would be like a vital part of your body, really, of your body functioning. When I was into CrossFit, I did a lot of macros, and my macros had like they were all over the place sometimes. I don't know if anyone knows about macros, but looking at what ER Shred does, that high level of protein and fats that people are eating like as much as they want, as much as they need to on their meat meals, was always kind of like, huh, you're going to eat all that and, you know, not put on 30 pounds. But then I'm like watching the results and I'm going, shit, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it. Why not? One time, if it sucks, then I'm out. And it did not suck. It was amazing. And you know how fun it is I'm sure all of you do, for the first time to get a big ass steak and put so much butter on it that it's like mostly butter with a little meat in there somewhere, and just like slurp it. And I'm like dripping butter. And Mary's like, what are you doing? I go, it's the protocol. It's the protocol, you know? It's so badass. Thankfully it worked, or she'd be like, yeah, that was the protocol, huh?
We need to get people, you know what we need to do? Sean, we need to add to the inventory ER Shred bibs. Shredder Nation bibs, like lobster bibs. Yes. And we'll have to pass them out to like first time shredders. We'll have to send them as like a gift, right? And because I feel like the butter will just be dripping down their face. They won't know. They're like, oh my God, somebody told me this was bad for me. And now I can eat all this. And you know what I mean? It's just dripping down and the yolk is coming down the face and down the shirt. And you need the bibs. Yes. We need the bibs for sure.
We should have, okay, I'm challenging everyone out there. Send us in your best picture of like greasy drippings and holding a piece of steak. And we got to do a collage, guys. A collage of greasy drippings on the face.
Tiles. I'm going to make some tiles.
Yes.
I don't know what Sean's going to make the challenge, but we'll make the challenge, right? We'll make some sort of challenge for sure. Everybody in the comments is loving the bib idea. So it's bibs, bibs, bibs. Mimi wants bibs, bibs, bibs.
Get on it, Sean. Let's go.
Let's go. So you come into the shred, you do the first shred. And for those of you that don't know, the 11-day shred is an 11-day protocol. If you want more information on the breakdown, go to ershred.com. If you want to join our free Facebook community, which is actually at 20.1 thousand people right now and growing by hundreds, literally every day. I can't keep up with accepting people. You just go to ershredders.com and we will welcome you in. Everybody is welcome. We don't care who you are. We don't judge you. We welcome you with open arms because it is that kind of community where everybody is welcome, and we just want to love on people, and we want to see you have your best personal life, whatever that may be for you. It is not Jesse's best life or Sean's best life. It is your best life, and we're going to help you get there. So you come in, you do the 11 days. What was the results of your first 11-day shred?
My first 11 days, I think I lost 12 pounds in those 11 days. I was surprised how many came off in the first few days. It was like my body was going, thank God you stopped throwing that shit in, you know?
Yeah.
It was great. The first 2 days of the fasting, the cleansing, I guess. I'm not going to lie, you guys. That cleansing juice is good. It's some good shit. And you got to drink it out of a wine. Yeah. Drink it out of a wine glass. So you feel like you're drinking in the morning. You're like, oh, that was crazy. It was good. And drinking all the water at first was hard for me because it's so much water, but then my body got used to it. And you're like, oh my God, this is what it feels like to be hydrated. You know what's crazy? My eyeballs were less dry.
Yeah.
less dry eyeballs from all of the consuming the water and the broth. I mean, there's just so many things to support you. And again, my energy through the roof, which I'm like, in the last couple of days, I haven't really eaten anything as far as, the cleansing portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I so amped up?
Yeah.
Why am I making my girlfriend crazy? Because I won't stop singing songs and playing around in the living room. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
The brain fog gone, which I am so foggy. Like I could just lift it. I finally feel like I'm like in reality. You guys ever get that brain fog where you're driving, you're just like, I'm not even here right now. Like it was weird. I would get that. And I'm sure it was all the sugar and shit clogging up all this stuff in here, but to feel totally awake, also fall asleep quickly. And then when I'm done sleeping, boom, wide awake. Like, shit, I guess I'm done. I guess I'll go do something. Because before it was wake up, fall back asleep, wake up. I don't want to do this, fall back asleep. This hour worth of trying to wake up, where now it's like wide awake, up and going. That's to me, the weight loss is awesome.
Yeah.
But I would trade that for clearing of the brain fog, for the energy, and just for the way I feel better about myself. Not even talking about how I look, just that better about myself.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah.
It's awesome, right? It's
and
awesome.
I do look better naked. So, I mean, I'm not going to complain about that.
Yes. Yes, girl. Listen, I'm so glad you said that because, every single person, and I hope people that are watching this, that are going to watch this, like I have no doubt this is going to reach thousands of people over time. When you hear this, I need you to understand the weight loss is the byproduct of feeling amazing daily. I can't tell you how many people come like, oh, I want those abs. I'm like, want that? I'm like, no, you don't. I'm like, first of all, it's so much freaking work. You don't even want to get there. Second of all, what you really want is you want to feel jacked up every day. Like you want to just pop out of bed. Like I can't even sleep in. And this has been like this for years because I figured this code out for myself many, many years ago and in all sorts of smorgasbord ways. You know what I mean? Like I wish I had something as like streamlined as the ER shred because I wasted a lot of time and thousands of dollars figuring that shit out. But I understand like it's that feeling. And when you feel awesome, well, now you have more energy to work out. Now you have more energy to not be sluggish in bed. And you have more energy to go for a walk. And you have more energy to everything. Like, I don't think people understand, like, everything changes. Everything. Like, getting healthy impacts all aspects of life, right?
It feels like you give yourself 4 hours in the day almost.
How you show up for your partner, how you show up for your job. What's that?
I said it feels like almost like you get more hours in your day, For sure. Because you're not sleeping Absolutely. 12 hours anymore. You're not taking a 1 hour nap. You're not sitting on the couch going, I feel like shit. Like, oh my God, I can get all this shit done. It's amazing. It really is adding hours to your day to get shit done. It's so cool. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
So the shred now, this is crazy, right? You're talking about eating all this steak, all this butter. You're talking about intermittent fasting, cellular intermittent cleansing, and coupling it with, butter and meat and salt and all this stuff and stripping out all the stuff. Did you feel hungry at all?
No.
Did you feel like you were deprived? Was this like a normal diet that you tried where it's like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, like I'm whatever,
no.
or what was it like?
Not at all. Of course, in the beginning there were moments. So the office where I work at, it's called UC Places, and we have a really cool travel app. Look that up next.
Wait, hold on, check this out.
What's up? Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. And yes, you are correct. Yeah, same Z's. It's true. It's true because of the energy.
It's so true. And it actually, like scientifically, which we're not gonna get into right now, but there's a direct effect. Like this doesn't surprise me. This is awesome.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it? As far as being hungry, no, there were times where I was like, dude, if I could go across the street to Dunkin' Donuts and eat all of them till they have to shut down their lights, I would. Not because I was hungry, but because it's a pattern. It's a pattern of, if I'm kind of having like a rough day at work, I'm super busy, I'm thinking, oh, Dunkin' Donuts. And I'm like, no, I'm not that person anymore. I'm not doing that shit. Mm-hmm. But after a few days of being on the air shred and you feel yourself feeling better, then it's like, I don't want to feel like shit. Why would I go eat all those donuts? I don't want to feel that. And I'm not saying I'm never going to have a donut again, but I'm like, I don't want to feel like shit anymore. I'm not going to go over there and get that donut.
Did you feel empowered when you did it? Did you start?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And weirdly enough, I started feeling like an athlete again, even though I wasn't really working out yet. I did the first shred without working out. The second shred, I started hitting the weights, and I'm getting, Paul, you up, for all of you older people out there that might know that reference. But before I even started working out again, I felt like an athlete. I just felt, I don't know, whatever you say, jacked, whatever it is, you just feel like you want to get out there and let people see you. I don't know what it is, like streaking across a football field. I don't know. I just want to do all the things, kick ass. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you've done, so clearly this is way more than the outside stuff. We're talking about deep stuff here. You do the first shred, and then what happens after the first shred?
So first shred, and then I went out to help my parents again. Excuse me. And I did well for the first, probably most of the week that I was out there. And then I started backsliding again because of the stress and the trauma of dealing with my parents. And on the plane back again, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that shit again. I'm better than that. I feel like shit again on the plane, and I want everyone's candy. I don't want that. I'm just not that person anymore. It's like I'm pretending to be someone else by eating all this shit, because that's not me. And I really want to point that out. I don't want to act like I've been perfect with it, because I bet none of you in the list, or you, Jesse, have been perfect every time on this. It's okay to hit a wall. It's okay to slide and be like, damn it, get your shit back together. And I did. Came back, got my shit back together, did another shred. I actually did a shred with a couple of friends, and that was awesome to get. I got a small community of me and two friends. We did a shred together. And it was so good to be able to share with them my experiences and let them feel that, and watch them have the great results. And I need to do it again. And it was badass. And then I took just kind of maintained for a week or so. And then I hopped on the January 4th shred, which we are currently in now. Just to show a little bit of the muscle building. You wait, I'm gonna shred all that extra skin off, and y'all gonna be like, damn, lesbian, go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna clock this. This is I don't know, 1 hour and 2 minutes. I'm gonna make sure I play this back for you. I'm gonna send you a little snippet of this video to hold you accountable.
Oh, bring it, Jesse. Bring it.
You said it. My job as the coach is to hold you accountable, right? You already know what to do. I'm going to make sure that you do it. So now you're in your so this is your second shred or third shred?
Third. Mm-hmm.
Third. Okay. And what people aren't realizing is, yes, it's an 11-day protocol. However, what you're describing to me is every time that you do this, you're becoming more knowledgeable. You're understanding. See, I don't have to tell you. I'm not going to give people answers, which is what most people look for, right? We will suggest to you, we will help guide you, but I want to teach you to fish, not give you a fish. So it sounds to me like you're really you're making the connection yourself in your mind. Like, okay, if I eat that, I know I'm going to feel like this, and I don't want to feel like shit. And it's what I tell people all the time. It's not that you can't have a cookie. It's not that you can't have ice cream. It's just that shit has gotten out of control, and we have to learn to create that balance, right? So if we can learn and we can fuel, and it's going to take however many times it takes, it doesn't matter. But by your third time and now your fourth time, now you're going to get to a point, you said I'm not perfect. Like you're right, but it's by choice. Like I'm at a point now where after 15 years of doing this, it honestly is not hard for me. I can't imagine my life any other way. Like I don't walk by donuts and go, oh my God, I need one. Like I'm like, that's going to make me feel greasy. I don't want to feel greasy at this present moment. But if I wanted to eat a donut, you damn straight, I'm going to down a donut, and I'm not going to feel guilty at all, because that's the point in life where I'm at right now. But it sounds like you're getting there, which is really when I talk to Sean about big picture, big vision, this is where we need people to come to. This, to me, this excites me so much more than somebody going, oh, I lost 20 pounds. I'm like, besides the weight, what else have you learned? Because that's what the ER shred is. This is the tracks to run on, but you get to figure it out. You get to figure you out for who you are, which is where all this stuff started You're like coming full circle because you
Circle,
started
baby.
life where you weren't able to be you, and now you're figuring out you with food, physical health, plus religion, plus everything, plus your whole life seems like it's coming together in this beautiful picture. Like I'm so fucking happy for you. Like I can't tell you how happy I am. Like, am I hearing all this right? Is that what's happening, or am I crazy?
You're a little crazy, but it is what's happening. It is
Okay,
what's
good.
happening.
That's good.
And it's a beautiful thing.
It's such a beautiful thing. So listen, friend, I want to respect your time, everybody's time. Tell me something. If anybody's out there who's on the fence, who is whatever. I mean, you've got a lot of people that are following you. I can see they have, religion transformations, and people have commented. Go back through, look at the comments and everything. If anybody has questions, first of all, where can people find you? Where can you find your podcast? Give me some links. Let's do some shameless plugs for you.
Sure. So latterdaylesbian.org. Here's one of our banners. So latterdaylesbian.org. No dash there, just latterdaylesbian.org.
Mm-hmm.
We also have Facebook page and stuff. I'm all over the internet. It's Shelly Johnson, obviously, Instagram and everything. Same thing. Yep. We also do a podcast called the UC. It's the letter U, the letter C, Places Travel Podcast. It's a company that we work for. There's an amazing app. You can go to ucplaces.com. Check that out. You can always just reach out to me. Again, I'm an open book. Careful what you ask, because I will tell you more than you wanted.
She will.
Thanks, Jesse. That's where you can find me. I'm all over it. And I love to interact with people. Never feel bad about reaching out to me. I will give it to you. For
sure. So even still, if you can go even afterwards, put those comment, put it in a comment. If you can make a comment, put your links in there. So we can put that, we can get that out there for you. I want to make sure that anybody who needs what you guys are bringing to the world, which I think is absolutely freaking amazing. I feel more people need healing, especially now. I want them to make sure that they know exactly where to come to you guys, because like I said, you guys are authentic, you're real, you're raw, you're going to tell it how it is. But more importantly, you're kind, you're caring, you're going to open your arms and bring somebody in no matter where they're at. I feel that from you. I feel that from you. Sean speaks so highly of you. I just want you to know that. Like, we talk a lot, that guy and I. And when we bring you up, he was so excited that you were going to be on this tonight. Like, literally, I think he did a backflip on Ollie's trampoline. I think he stole it and did one.
What did his hair do on the backflip? It was like,
listen, you leave Fabio alone and let his hair be. So that's that. Last comment, and let's end this. What would you say to anybody who's on the fence? Is this for anybody? Can anybody do this, whether they're old, young, athlete, non-athlete? What would you say to somebody if they're sitting there and life just doesn't feel right now?
Yeah, I say do it, and do it for what's on your inside. Do it for your mental health. Do it for your healing, because I don't think you can just heal mentally. I don't think you can just heal spiritually. I think physical has to be in there too, because this body is what's holding in our spirit. And we, I believe, need to treat all three equally. And so don't be scared. You've got 20,000 best friends out there ready to pick you up if you stumble. And it literally has saved my health. I'm 46 now, and it was just plummeting. Just do it. Go for it. Yeah. Reach out. We're an amazing community, for real.
I got goosebumps.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That touched me, because you're right. I believe exactly like you do. Like, I think they're all connected. You know what I mean? Mind, body, soul, physical. It's all interrelated. And if we can get that to work in synergy and balance with each other.
Yes. That's where it is, man.
Listen, friend, I love you to death. I know we're just breaking the tip and just getting to know each other. But the more I talk to you, the more I love you. Like, I want to have so many more conversations with you. I hope you know that I'm here for you. Sean and Crystal are here for you. This whole community is here for you. You come, you bring you just how you are. We love you for who you are. And I really want to thank you for taking the time and being open and being vulnerable. And you just keep doing you and blessing lives. Like, I'm really, really freaking proud of you, friend. I really, really am.
Thank you, Jesse. That means the world to me. Thank you. It really does.
So I hope you have an awesome night, and we'll chat soon.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks, everyone, for watching.
All right,
Love
guys. We'll talk to you soon.